Welcome back to Sunflower Cottage Crochet. I'm your host, Sarah. Today, as promised, we're going to go over the solid granny, and I want to point out a few things about it. For starters, you start out with a circle, and then you turn that into a square, and then you just keep building the square bigger and bigger. Pretty simple concept. Looks nice because it's all closed up. You do have very small gaps right here that I think look really pretty. In contrast, you have the traditional granny, which has clusters and chain spaces. So side by side, whoops, you can see the major differences between them. So to get started, what you will need, obviously, yarn and hook. Any hook, any yarn that you like. You'll need to make a circle of some kind to work into. If you watched my traditional granny square video, I taught you how to do it there, but just in case you haven't, I'm going to show you now. For those of you that did watch, skip ahead. So you can either do a chain 4, so we're going to make a slip knot, chain 4, alright, and then you're going to slip stitch into that first chain next to the slip knot to close it up and form a ring. Now this ring is not where you slip stitch, it's in between all the stitches. Then you will chain 3, which counts as a double crochet, trap your tail and work over it, and work 11 more double crochets into that center ring. Seems hard to find at first, but see there, once you get one stitch in, it opens right up. Be sure to work over the tail. For those that prefer the magic ring or want to learn the magic ring method, this is the way I do it. I will lay the yarn across my fingers and pinch, wrap around the top, come back under and cross over, making an X. I'm going to pinch there, and I'm going to wrap around behind that first loop, and I'm going to use my ring finger to hold it all together. Go under the first loop with your hook and grab the one in the back. I like to pop it up and twist so that the loop I grabbed doesn't come undone when I'm doing all this mess. Now I can chain up 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn it back so that my chain is facing me the proper direction. Now we have a pretty nice loop here, and it's much bigger. So I leave this sort of woven in, and I will work right over it. When you want to close your opening, you will pull on the tail end of the yarn to do so. Okay, so going back to what we need to do, put 11 more double crochets into your ring. Just like so. Please do that, and I will meet you back at the end. So I have my 11 more double crochets into my ring and my chain 3, which counts as a double crochet. So now I have a total of 12 double crochets. So now for me, because I did a magic ring, I'm going to pull my tail end and tighten this ring up. Doesn't take too much force. And I can just tuck it down because I'm done. So now we need to close it. So what we're going to do is slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 that we started out this round with. Wiggle your hook in there, slip stitch to join. To do the next round, if you recall, we're going to build up the square shape. So we're going to create corners. 4 corners. In order to do that, we'll need to chain up 3, which remember counts as a double crochet. And you see this little hole right here where the chain 3 is coming out of? Try to get a little something to show you. Alright, right there. Right there. That's where you're going to be working into for right now. So to set that aside, do another double crochet right into that spot, the join spot, chain 1 and put 2 more double crochets right into that joining spot. Now you have a corner. You're going to put 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, just like so. Now we're going to do another corner. So 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet all into that same stitch. Okay, so now we have made 2 corners and a couple of double crochets. It looks like nothing but double crochets because it is a solid granny. So now we're going to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches again. And now we're going to do another corner. So 2 double crochets, chain 1, 2 double crochets all in the same stitch to make the corner. Pause the video as you need to. Okay, so now we have 3 corners and 2 sides made. Now we're going to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches again. And we're going to build our last corner in the next stitch. 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet. And now you have 2 available stitches to work into, but never count this one here because it's quite a bit smaller for one, and it is the joining point, and you can see that your chain 3 comes right out of that. Don't work in that. So just like the other sides, we're going to put 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. And then you're going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3. If you watched my traditional granny video, we did a neat pattern where we turned every row, but for solid granny you don't need to do that because there's no worry about things getting cockeyed, because instead of having to slip stitch, you just continually work around. So I'm going to work one more row of this color. Next row I will show you how to change colors. So to continue on with the square pattern now, we're building up and we're working into essentially each stitch around. So to do that we need to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and now you can see we have 1 stitch and a chain 1 space. So we're going to put a double crochet into that next double crochet from previous row, and then we're going to do a corner, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet in the chain 1 space from the previous round. Whoop. Now I slide my work over because you need to be aware that this right here is a stitch, and its spot to work in typically gets buried when you make a corner. So you need to make sure that you're catching that. So I have a stitch count for these rows. The very first round was 12. This round was 24. But now we're adding 16 extra stitches each round as we go. So this next round will have 40 stitches, just so you're aware. So now we're going to get my notes back here. Be sure to double crochet in each double crochet from the previous row along. and I believe that's 6. So let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now we're going to make another corner. 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet in the chain 1 space. Alright, slide that work over again a little bit. 6 double crochets across the top here, 1 in each from the previous row. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, split yarn, 5, and 6. So now you've got 2 corners and 2 sides done. Do another corner, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet in the chain 1 space. Flip and chain 2. Okay. Now I'm going to pop that work over just a little and work my 6 doubles across this straight edge. I'm going to go ahead and do that, work my next corner of 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and then I will meet back up with you when I finish this corner. So here I am back around, and I've got a few more stitches to do before I can join. So I wanted to show you how to close up your rounds. Remember to catch that one stitch that gets buried a little. So we started with 2 and we need 6, so we need to do 4 more. So I just did 1, here's 2, 3, and 4. Remember that that tiny little spot there does not count as anything, it is simply the join for your next chain 3. So now we're going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 from below. Now, normally you would finish this out like so. I'm actually going to change colors, and I'm going to go ahead and do it right here to keep on with the way the pattern's been going. So in order to do that, and I need to clip my blue here, do that, leave enough tail, plenty of tail to weave in later. So in order to add new yarn, I don't like to create too many knots, so I'm just going to loop it around and make sure I have plenty of tail to weave in. And trapping that tail down, I'm just going to hook that loop on and pull it through. And then I'm going to tighten the blue yarn down a little bit. And then I'm going to trap both by working over both until I get to the corner. So now I can chain 3 like we normally do. And I now have 1, 2, 3 more double crochets to work into. This is going to grow each round. You go work into that stitch right there for 1, get more yarn, working over my tails, 2, and 3. I'm going to go ahead and drop them there and weave them in again later. So now we're going to work our corner, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet in the chain 1 space. And pop that over so you be sure to catch that stitch. Now we have lots more to work into, don't we? So let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 before we get to that chain 1 space. So we're going to need 10 double crochets across the top here, one in each from the previous row. So let's get that done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, there we go. We have our chain 3, corner, one whole side done, and part of a side done. So this is the pattern for these all the way around every single row. It's going to just get bigger and bigger, just like the traditional granny does, except you're just making it much more solid. So we'll do one more row or corner together. That's 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet, and the chain 1 space. So we'll go ahead and do that. Sliding my work over so I can catch that one. So I want you to work 10 double crochets across the top, do your corner, 2 double crochet, chain 1, 2 double crochet in the chain 1 space, work another 10, do your final corner, and I will meet you back up here. Okay, I'm back. I've completed my work around up to the point where I said we would meet. If you need more time, just pause the video, and catch up that way. So I hope you were popping this over to catch these ones that get a little squished. Make sure you had 10 worked along each side. So to finish this out, remember we started out with 4 double crochets already. That's counting that chain 3. So in order to get 10, we need to do 6 more. So we have 1 that's part buried, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And remember, this doesn't count, it just connects the chain. So we're going to pop that to the side and work our 6 that we already counted out right over to complete this square. Traditional granny sizing is 4 to 5 rounds. This is a 4 round granny. I'm going to slip stitch to the top of the chain 3 to close this off, and I'm going to fasten off because I like the 4 round grannies and not the 5s. The 5s are just a little too big for my taste, but they don't look bad. They're just slightly too big. If you want to know how to weave in all these ends, I encourage you to watch my traditional granny video, and I have also got a separate video on weaving in the ends. It's the same rules apply no matter what type of project you have. Alright, I hope this tutorial was helpful for you. Please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Hit the little notification bell icon to be notified of all of our upcoming tutorials and patterns and any videos that we upload. Thank you for joining. Bye bye.